Hello guys, this is Roger69501 and welcome to my channel. Well, on this video I'm going to give you my thoughts for book number 3 of Supergirl being super. Now check out this cover, love the cover. Now this is the kind of cover that would look nice on a t-shirt. Big time, look at that. Look at that, awesome. Okay, now I have to say I want to apologize to be so behind on my reading. Well, because my last video that I did about this story, I think was February, I think it was. Or was last year? I think it was last year. Anyway, well, because I'm behind in all of my books. After I went, because the moment I went to surgery, up to when the doctor tell me that I can go back to work, which that was 6 weeks later. That's about a month and a half that I was not reading comic books. So I'm behind by a month and a half. Now that's a lot of books. That's a lot of comic books. So I'm way behind on my reading. So don't be surprised that when I make a video about a comic book, well, the comic book is already 6 months old. So I will not be surprised. So I want to apologize, but what can I say? So to the story. Well, here we get to see or to learn a little bit of a background of Supergirl that we already know. It's not much different. So here we see when she was remembering the last time that she saw her parents before she was shipped out to planet Earth. And then we see the moment when she met her parents here on planet Earth the first time. She's kind of like remembering. The thing is that they still, or she and the town, is still struggling with what happened on issue number 1, or issue by the end of issue number 1 and issue number 2, which was the big earthquake, where 5 or 6 students from her school died, and also one of her best friend also died. So she is struggling with that. Like, well, I still have she's questioning herself. Like, I have all this power, but I did not manage to save my best friend. Also, she's questioned herself. She hasn't find herself yet. It's kind of like she's searching for an identity. That's what it is. Typical teenager age, I guess. So in high school, they're giving her a hard time. You know, typical high school kids. And then she see her boyfriend, her best friend. What's her name? Dolly. We can see Dolly here. She's walking on the hallway of the high school. Now, I have to say that I love the art. The color is amazing, but the art, whoa. I like the way the artists draw the people expression when they're happy, sad, worried, uh, depressed, things like that. Because he really nailed it down. He really nailed it down. So we see her, just a typical day at school, cooking class, and then she started arguing with a guy that is giving her a hard time. So she decided to skip school, half a term actually, or half a day, with her friend Dolly. So the coach, she's looking for Kara and Dolly. Well, they left. So the coach, she just left. So we see them at the town talking, and then she returns back home, where she see the coach talking to her parents. Now, at that moment, we see a situation on her past, which is the last panel here. That's her parents, and the 2 people there sitting on the table are her grandparents. You see, the house of her grandparents seems like they were living close by to them in some other state. So it caught fire. And Kara, being naive because she was really young, maybe she was 10 years old, maybe younger, so she managed to save her grandfather and grandmother from the fire. So her father says, she said, look, Daddy, I have to help Grandpa. And her father says, yeah, I know, but we have to go inside and hide you for a bit because they don't want to people know that, well, about her. So now it makes me wonder, uh, if her parents, if on this story, when she was growing up, if they knew about Superman. I guess, I'm not sure. So even though here they don't mention Superman at all. So like I said, she feels searching for herself. She's out of place. She is kind of like, I'm here, but I feel that I don't belong here. Kind of like an outsider. Some of us might went through that when we were on the teenage years. I know because I went through that. So here we see that she received a call from her friend Dolly, and then while she's asleep, she's hear a voice saying, "Save me." So she thought that she was losing her mind. So said, "Well, I'm gonna follow that to see where it goes." So she followed the voice until she arrived kind of like a little shack in the middle of nowhere. And there is a door on the ground, kind of like an attic, just to see a secret lab. And the lab is run by no other than her coach, school coach. I know. Look at that. So her coach was not a coach actually. She's a scientist. She's been experimenting on metahumans, specifically Kryptonian, because they got here on the table that we see here. Well, he is a metahuman. He is from Krypton. Ha. So not only that her coach, she knows that Kara, well, she has superpowers. Now remember, on this story, even though that it says Supergirl, she never actually took the identity to become Supergirl. This is before she becomes Supergirl. Kind of like the kind of like the Wonder Years, kind of like that. So the thing is that she knows about Kara and her superpower. The thing is that she has this guy from Krypton, which his name is I'll tell you in a bit. Anyway, because she's trying to take the power of this Kryptonian and convert it into clean energy. If that makes any sense. I don't know how she can do that. But hey, it's comic books, anything's possible. But even in comic books, there is a limit to there is a limit to things. I always believe that the stories on the comic books, even though that is fantasy, and you have to disbelieve and all that, there's a limit to it. Because I mean, you can write fantasy. Well, I mean, this is fantasy story, but it has a limit in the sense that you can write any type of fantasy story, but it has to make sense. So, like I said, it has a limit. So if they decide to make a story, how is she gonna take the Kryptonian superpower and turn it into clean energy? Well, I would like to read it. So anyway, back to the story. So we see that she attacked Kara with some kind of ray. The thing is that, well, she gets pissed off. She used her eye beams and she punched the machine. By doing so, she liberated the other Kryptonians that we see here. That skinny guy there. Look at that. I know. So his name is he has a stupid name. Oh, what's his name? Oh yeah, Tanon. Tanon is TAN dash ON. Tanon or Tanon. Whatever. Anyway, back to the story. Well, so we see now there's a funny twist of this story is that well here is the first time I can tell that on this story with some surprise. Seems like they don't know anything about Superman because here seems like the first time that she meets a Kryptonian. So everybody knows about Superman. Everybody knows that Superman comes from Krypton. So how can she come from Krypton also? So how come that she feels surprised to meet the first Kryptonian? Because here is the first time that she doesn't feel alone. That's the thing about Kara. Is the loneliness that she feels being here on Earth, being the only one. So I'm surprised that she doesn't know anything about Superman. That's the only thing. That's the only thing that don't make sense. How she can feel lonely being the only Kryptonian when there's Superman around. Even though that she doesn't know Superman personally, but I mean, there's no reason to feel alone. I guess I don't know, unless that they are taking the road from the Supergirl from the New 52 that all the time she was depressed. Oh yeah, believe me, she spent half of the series crying, depressed, little bit more depressed. She never figured out what to do, and she was depressed. And after she was depressed, well, she get little bit more depressed. So when she thought that she was getting out of the depression, boom, more depressed. That's how Supergirl was on the New 52. Oh, believe me, good stories. It's not that they are bad. It's just all the time she was depressed and she never knew what to do or what to say. She was always screwing up. Oh, like, ah, I know. Well, back to Supergirl being super. Well, here, so we see that what was his name? Canon. So he run away. The thing is that seems like Supergirl or Kara, she just fall in love with him. Just like that. Just like on the movies. I was like, okay, that was love at the first sight. You know, kind of like love is in the air. That song from the 80s, we forgot the singer's name, but you know. So I was like, okay, I mean, she just. So, and then she tells her, let's run away together. Because they're gonna do to you the same thing that they try to do to me. They want to experiment in us, and I don't want you to go through that. So let's go escape together. Let's go back to Krypton, to our people. That's what he said. So the thing is that, well, she says, okay, fine, let's go. So she go home, and she makes a bag, and she leaves a note to her parents saying goodbye or whatever. And the thing is that her friend Dolly, she's trying to communicate with her. She doesn't pay attention to her, and she just go to him. The thing is that Cannon, he was already on some top of the mountain, overlooking the city, as we can see here. The thing is that the guy says, "Oh, you are stargazing." So the thing is that, well, we get to find out that this Canon, well, he's not a good guy. He's a bad guy. He just beat the hell out of it, turned him into ashes. Okay. So, little bit of while, well, Supergirl shows up. Her parents finds the little note saying goodbye, parents, or whatever. I guess we're gonna find out on the next issue. And this is the end of it when Kara arrives where Canon is, and that's it. It was really good. I like this story. Reminds me of Superman Alien. Was Superman Alien? This 10 issue miniseries that came out a couple of years back, kind of telling the different stages of Clark Kent's life up to he get to be Superman. Superman Alien something. Well, anyway, it reminds me that book. So, like I said, I love the art, the colorist is amazing, and the story is really good. The only part that did not make sense is how she feels when she met this guy from Krypton, and then for the first time she doesn't feel alone when there is Superman out there, even though they don't know each other. But I believe that in some sense she's not gonna feel alone. I don't know. I mean, unless that she does, but she's a very depressed girl. Though Supergirl, they always portray her very insecure, depressed. She doesn't know what to do. She's always lost. She's always, well, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe. So that's how they portray Supergirl so far. It's not bad. It just after a while, it's kind of gets old. I mean, I'm not saying that they have to write Supergirl as if she was Superwoman, a Wonder Woman. Not like that, but I guess she should just stop. I mean, not stop, but she should grow that stage on her life, or at least the writers take that stage on her life and make it shorter and to move on. But seems like they like to get stuck on her depression years. So other than that, it was a good story. I gave it 4.5 out of 5, and it was great. So if you're not reading it, you should read it, because I make a video from issue number 1 and number 2. This one is book number 3. So once I got book number 4, I decide to reread it one after the other, which make it excellent. So if you never read it, I will advise you to get the trade. Maybe if you can get the books cheaper, floppy wise, well, get it, because this is format. This is what they call prestige format, kind of like a mini book, thick spine and all that. So, well, that's it. So you can get it in a trade. Get it. It's really good. It's really good. And like I said, this is 4.5 out of 5. Well, guys, this is it. I hope that you like this video. See you later. Bye.